Are you a digital nomad from the US? You might be throwing your money away without even realizing it. Here are 5 financial tips that will save you money and keep you from future headaches.
Hi, I'm Jen
And I'm Stevo,
from Two Can Travel.
and so can you.
In this video, we're sharing how we manage our money while abroad and some lessons we've learned the hard way so you can avoid making the same mistakes. Let's get into it. This tip has saved us thousands of dollars over the years, and it's really simple. Don't waste your money on ATM fees.
Cash is still king in many parts of the world, and you can lose a lot of money on ATM fees every single time you withdraw money. You can't search for in-network ATMs that are affiliated with your bank back in the States. It could be really time-consuming and sometimes not even possible. But you can avoid all of that by getting a debit card from Charles Schwab. That way, you can withdraw money from almost any ATM in the world, and you'll get all of those ATM fees you're charged back into your account at the end of the month.
It's also really nice that you don't need to pull out a lot of money at once to avoid the ATM fees because you can literally just pull out any amount of money at any time, knowing that you'll get those fees back. Just last week, we were in Albania doing some last minute shopping on our last day, and we realized all the vendors at the market where we were shopping only took cash. So Stevo ran to the ATM and he pulled out $30, and the ATM fee was $8. But thankfully, we'll get that money back at the end of the month. But you can see how that would add up really quickly.
Bonus tip: when an ATM asks if you want your withdrawal to be charged in USD or the local currency, always choose the local currency. ATMs use dynamic currency conversion, which is just a fancy way of meaning you're going to get a worse exchange rate. Withdrawing in the local currency will literally give you more bang for your buck.
And this tip also applies when using card machines like at a restaurant or a shop. So just make sure that if you're given the option, you choose the local currency every time.
We are big advocates of using credit cards to do some travel hacking, and as US citizens, we are very lucky to have access to a lot of cool perks. But of course, when we're talking about credit cards, that comes with a huge caveat: always pay them off at the end of the month. None of these perks are worth it if you're incurring debt at the same time.
That said, we have been able to get so many free or heavily discounted flights, priority boarding, free checked baggage, hotel rooms, and other perks over the years by using credit cards, and you can too. And this year, we finally got a credit card that gives us lounge access in airports, which has been such a game changer for the way that we travel. And I can't believe we didn't do that sooner.
There are a lot of great credit card deals out there for travelers, but the number one thing you want to pay attention to when applying for a new credit card is if they have any foreign transaction fees. Those can be up to 3% per transaction, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but that will add up quick. Some of these cards have great sign-up bonuses for when you first get the card. You usually have to spend a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time. For example, we recently got the Capital One Venture X card, and we had to spend $4,000 in 3 months, and that got us 75,000 bonus miles, and that was enough miles to cover us from the UK to India.
Of course, credit cards with big benefits can also come with annual fees. If you decide at some point that you don't need that credit card anymore, instead of canceling it, we recommend that you downgrade the card instead to another card that has no annual fee. That's because if you cancel a credit card, it can actually affect your credit score. So just downgrading the card and then putting small purchases on it every month, like a recurring subscription or something, is actually better. We recently downgraded a card that we really weren't using anymore. It was really easy to do. We just called the credit card company and asked to downgrade to a no fee card, and it took like 10 minutes and then it was done.
The last little thing you need to do before you start traveling is inform your credit card companies that you will be abroad. If foreign transactions just start popping up on your credit card, the company could freeze or even cancel your card, which is a major pain in the ass while you're traveling. So you could just let them know through the dashboard. You don't even have to talk to a human being to do this. It's very simple and will save you a major headache.
When you're a digital nomad, things will inevitably go wrong at some point that make you say, oh shit, which is why we recommend putting money aside in what we call an O fund or your emergency fund. This is money that you have set aside in case of those worst case scenarios, like losing your job or having a medical emergency that isn't covered by insurance, a family emergency that you need to fly home for, or you could get robbed. So many things could happen. So it's smart to set money aside ahead of time just in case. And hopefully you never need to touch it, but it's really nice to know that you have your own back in case something like that happens. And we know this firsthand.
When we first started our digital nomad journey in 2018, we did not have an fund, and a lot of things went wrong at the same time. We were down to our last pennies, and that was very stressful. So ever since then, we have always made sure to have money set aside for things like that.
In the past few years, we have had to tap into our fund when Stevo's grandma passed away, and we needed to fly from Albania to Missouri within 48 hours, and we did make it just in time. Thankfully, we had the money to be able to do that.
Since your emergency fund is money that you'll hopefully never have to touch, don't just leave it lying around in your checking. You could put that money into a high-yield savings account and then make money on your money.
This is something that we only did sort of recently in the last couple of years, and our emergency fund sitting in a high-yield savings account has made us hundreds of dollars rather than just sitting in a regular savings account where it would make pennies. And the other good thing about a high-yield savings account is that it's still really easily accessible in case you do need it. So how much money should you keep in your own fund? For us, we know that about $2,000 a month would cover all of our necessary expenses if really hit the fan.
And now for the fun part. Taxes! Here are 5 important things you need to know about paying taxes as a digital nomad from the US.
Number 1, all U.S. citizens and resident aliens must file their taxes even if they're overseas 100% of the year. You may also need to file state taxes even if you aren't required to pay any taxes there. We made this mistake in the past and got a nasty letter from the California State Tax Board, so make sure to check the requirements in your state. And even if you renounce your U.S. citizenship, you may still have an obligation to file and pay taxes there, depending on your financial situation and ties with the U.S.
Number 2, being abroad can actually come with some tax benefits like the foreign earned income exclusion. That means you can exclude up to $126,500 of foreign earned income in 2024 if you qualify.
Number 3, to avoid paying double tax on the same income, you may want to look into totalization agreements. Those are agreements between the U.S. and other countries to prevent U.S. citizens living abroad from paying into 2 Social Security systems simultaneously.
Number 4, being abroad means you may automatically qualify for the 2-month filing extension until June 16th. But know that you'll start accruing interest on any taxes you owe past April 15th. If you need more time, you can request an extension until October 15th.
Number 5, if you have over $10,000 in foreign bank accounts outside the U.S., then you will need to report it through FBAR. Failure to report that money can result in big fines.
We've been doing our taxes by ourselves for the past 13 years that we've been abroad, mainly because we didn't know if there were any tax professionals out there that would understand our situation as expats and now as digital nomads.
Doing our own taxes was such a pain in the ass every single time. First, we would spend weeks agonizing over the idea of needing to do our taxes, putting it off, feeling annoyed. Then finally, we'd bite the bullet and start spending days and hours upon hours figuring out the right forms to fill out, what we needed to do for different forms of income and investments and bank accounts, learning what had changed from the previous year, whether we're allowed to take certain deductions, and just wondering the whole time whether we were doing it right.
This year, we finally decided to work with a tax professional who works with U.S. citizens living abroad, and it has made this tax season so much simpler and easier and less painful.
We're working with Taxes for Expats to help us file both our federal and state taxes as part of a promotion. We wanted to be upfront about that, but honestly, we can say that it has been a real game changer for us in getting our taxes done this year. Having an enrolled agent who knows exactly what they're doing has given us such a sense of peace and relief.
All we had to do was gather our tax documents, answer some simple questions on a tax questionnaire, and then send everything in. Our agent asked us some questions to clarify things, and then bada bing, bada boom, he's done the rest for us.
It's been so nice. He also helped us identify deductions that we didn't realize we were able to take. Working with him, we now know that we need to be more diligent in tracking our business expenses so that we can take more deductions. And so now we have a better tax saving strategy for the future.
It was so good to finally work with a tax professional who could answer our questions and give us clarity about our situation.
If you're in a similar situation as a digital nomad or you're living abroad, we recommend checking out Taxes for Expats. We'll leave a link below where you can get a $50 discount on their services if you sign up before April 30th. And after April 30th, you can still get a $25 discount.
Now my hair is down. The next piece of financial advice that will save you a lot of money in the long run and really mitigate your risks is to have medical or travel insurance.
Some countries also require you to have proof of travel or medical insurance in order to obtain a visa so that you don't become a burden on their local healthcare system. And it's just a good idea to have insurance in case anything does go wrong.
There are a variety of options that you can choose when it comes to travel or medical insurance. We've made a lot of videos about that already, so we'll leave links to those in the description box below. To share what we currently use, we have Genki's Explorer plan, which is travel insurance that covers us for emergencies and accidents. Any other medical expenses like checkups or stuff like that, we pay for out of pocket. There are international medical plans that will cover annual checkups, but again, that's just what we're comfortable doing.
Like Stevo said, we are comfortable paying for our checkups and annual things like that out of pocket. So we just went to Albania where I saw an English speaking gynecologist, a dermatologist. I got multiple ultrasounds.
I also got a full checkup, multiple blood tests and ultrasounds. I met with a cardiologist. We went to the dentist. We both had our teeth cleaned. I got a cavity filled. All of those procedures between the two of us in total cost less than $1,000.
That's just what we're personally comfortable doing. So you need to decide what makes sense for you, whether you want to have just travel insurance or more comprehensive medical insurance. If you want all of these tips and more in one place, download our free Digital Nomad Finances Guide where we break everything down step by step.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you in the next video.
All right, give me 1,000% your Valley Girl.
Let's get into it. Are you going to use that?
Of course.